Listen, we are back. We are back. Make sure you like this video as you are coming in. Make sure you like it. Thank you. What is up, y'all? It's your girl, brand new. And honey, I am back in the building. Listen. This time, honey, I'm back for part 2 of Mr. Carlos King. Honey, the people got to dragging him. The people figured out that he was talking about Miss Melody Cherie. So without further ado, honey, let's get off into it. So one person says, I can somewhat see his point, but I think what really happened was that social media gave the reality star a voice that was almost equal to that of production and allowed the audience to see the splicing together of non-related situations to create false narratives. We all remember back in the day the voiceover trick. Y'all put a housewife's voice saying something off camera that, yes, she did say, but she said it days earlier and not at the event. Okay, shout out to Latifah. The placement made that person look two-faced. That's kind of true. That was manufactured conflict, so viewers walked away seeing that reality TV was not real. Another thing I'm a bit disappointed with the Breakfast Club. Look, with the breakfast. Shout out to the people that say it like that. To me, they didn't really do their due diligence. They didn't do their big one. I would have liked more like complex questions, like y'all saw, like for instance, when Carlos said what he said about the reality star, right? Social media killed the reality star. When he said that, why didn't they do a follow-up question and ask him, well, are you speaking of someone in particular? What about the women that have recently, quit your shows? When did Aikisha quit? I think she quit before the new year, wasn't it, you guys? I think it was around Christmas. So, yeah, that would have been 2024. I wish they would have gotten into winter and the interview that, she did with Queen Sheba, where, she mentioned her displeasure, of the show and how she was treated at the one reunion. And, she just felt like everybody was trying to attack her. We got Monique Samuels. Now, with Monique, to me, it's a little bit different than the other ones because Monique had one of those personalities where she wanted to be liked and she was willing to be phony to be liked. She was willing to throw other people under the bus to be liked. She always said that, yeah, I'm nothing like the other women on Real Housewives of Potomac. And Giselle looked your ass straight in your eye and said, yeah, you really ain't shit without your husband's money, okay? And, I think Giselle saw that Monique used her husband's wealth as armor. She didn't feel good enough herself. And if you look back, you could kind of see that. And then again, Giselle was jealous of, Monique's life and she was still married. I do think that Giselle was jealous of those things. And the fact that she had 4 homes. I also feel like Monique was a little bit jealous of Giselle. Not from a beauty standpoint, okay? Because both of them are beautiful, striking, right? I think Monique admired Giselle's ability to be detached from certain situations. Because you'll never catch Giselle like losing her cool or about to choke the shit out of somebody. She'll just be nasty, which is still, to me, equally as bad, right? But you're not gonna see her, choking somebody or punching somebody all in the head, like the way Monique went for Candace. Okay, and Carlos was actually trying to help with her image because after Real Housewives of Potomac, a lot of people did not like her no more. They didn't like how she lied like that. Okay? How she got ahead of the story and said that Candace hit her and she was just reacting. And, she's very manipulative and fundamentally deceptive. Shout out to Mark. Okay? Kenya's Mark. I remember when he, was that him? No. That wasn't him. That was Matt. Remember, Matt was crazy. Kenya was running that nigga. Kenya was fucking that man in the truck, honey. She was running him like, let me just give this nigga some pussy. I remember I was dealing with this guy, and I used to say that, yeah, let me just give this nigga some pussy. That way he shut the fuck up. And he would. Okay? How you doing? Give him. Wait a minute. Girl, it got real. I heard that knock. I'm like, hold up. Wait a minute. Okay, don't be knocking on Miss Robinson's doors. Okay, I got something up in here. A damn crowbar or something. Knock somebody out. Okay, I'm like, did somebody break in the house? But, it was just the shams, honey. She just came back from a birthday dinner with her old friend. Shout out to her mom. I don't know if her mom watches my show. I think one of my daughter's friends' mothers watches my show. So shout out to her if she's listening. But shout out to Miss Sarah because she helped me, with my daughter. So when you are doing good things in life, you providing, you are a single parent, you gotta be mama, daddy, look, the family dog, you gotta do all those things. And, people see that, and I feel like God or the universe, will send you an angel. And Miss Sarah was that angel for my daughter, invite my daughter to her daughter's birthday parties. The girls have been close since they were in elementary school, So I'm just really thankful and grateful for Miss Sarah because when I would work 16-hour shifts, she would take the girls, to go get something to eat, hang out at the mall, So shout out to her. Okay, now back. Let me get back now, okay? Because my damn heart dropped in my drawers. But look, we go catch it. Listen. But yeah, like Monique Samuels, her personality and Melody was very different because you could tell she was the brains. Even though Martell tried to, take all the credit for pushing her, and I'm like, he ain't did shit. Okay, and he ain't about shit. But, Melody was ambitious. She can sing, She makes music. She has, her own network and, shows on her network that's winning awards. Okay, shout out to Melody. Very different from Monique Samuels because Melody came in like, being a boss. And I feel like Monique was with her husband and, she had to figure out her way. She had to start her own businesses. I hated the title of the one, Not for Lazy Mom. It's like, bitch, I want to be a lazy mom, okay? Like, I feel judged, okay? So, I didn't like the damn title. I thought it was stupid. I agreed with Giselle and Robin, when they would say certain stuff like, what kind of title is that? And then I think Giselle is kind of funny sometimes. She kind of remind me of me a little bit because she's silly. And, I think she had told Monique, that's offensive. I said, bitch, it is offensive. Not for lazy moms. And what she was trying to tell us is that she needs to be working on something all the time. This busybody energy and, But all the while, when she was over there with Chris, she was trying to act like she was, just so in love, and now, the truth has come out, right? I'm sure she had happy times in her marriage, but her marriage always seemed a bit odd to me. It just seemed to be about sex all the time. That's all Chris would talk about, or getting her pregnant. It was like, goddamn. But then, he had times where he seemed generous and nice, but that other side, it came out in the end. And I think Monique was embarrassed, because remember, he said if he wasn't a man, he would slap the shit out of them. He wished he could turn into Caitlyn Jenner or something and do something to the women. So, his slip began to show at the end, and so did Monique's, and they had already kind of figured her out, especially Giselle. Giselle, like, really clocked her. I think we always say Monique clocked Giselle. She did with the 4 homes, because Giselle's ass wasn't ready for that bitch, okay? Monique was like, no, I don't have 1 home. I'm not looking for a home, bitch. I got 4 homes. Now, how you doing? I was like, oh, I like her. And I used to love Karen too, because Karen was like, oh, she caught that. Karen would jump in, and so she liked Monique from day one. But yeah, Giselle was, picking at her, and it's unfortunate, they got to do shit like that to make the story interesting. So, and I always felt like Giselle was kind of jealous of her marriage, and, she was spoiled, but we know she had a heavy price to pay, honey, at home, okay? Now, I done got all off topic, okay? Listen, bear with me. But, okay, so I was going over the girls. Monique, Akeisha, and Gucci. Where Carlos fucked up is he's messy. He actually admitted, he compared himself to Charlemagne, which I would never do, but, that's Carlos, and maybe he does have a lot in common with Charlemagne, because it's like they don't care, just very curt, and you have to, when you're dealing with people, you gotta care about them. You do, unless you are in a business where that's the name of the game, to use people and spit them out. But this is your brand, and you don't want nobody leaving your production saying they had a bad experience. The girls put their Yelp reviews on YouTube. Shout out to Erica De Niro, honey. The girls put it out there. About how you treat the people. You got Winter, like I said. You got So Gucci and Akeisha. And you fucked up with Bell Collective. Bell Collective was fine, but you messed up when you ushered Selena in. I felt like Selena didn't fit with them. I like Gucci with them. I like JJ. And if Selena was going to be on, okay, you could film her at an event. I felt like Selena is one of those people where she has a big fan base, and she should just have her own show. The show was good the way it was. It was good. Or if you want Selena on that bad, then you offer her the position the next season. Gucci had a restraining order on her, and you still had her around her, and I just felt like that was so messy, was so disrespectful. You showed you didn't have any loyalty to Gucci. Akeisha saw that, and I'm sorry, I wanted my daughter to see a show with a positive marriage, and I felt like that's what Akeisha and Willie had. Like I said, I like Gucci and I like JJ. there were some things about their marriage that I didn't really like towards the end, but nevertheless, y'all know Gucci was my girl, and I did like her and JJ's marriage. And I just feel like, for the sake of TV, when we get a good married couple on a show, can we keep them around? Can we like do all we can to me he didn't go out of his way to protect them, to make them feel safe. Wasn't it so Gucci that said she didn't feel protected? So Carlos, your stars are trying to give you feedback. They saying, they're not happy, bro, with your productions. They're not happy. They're not happy with the way you do things. So I felt like this interview, it was good. It was, maybe if he comes back, I hope they would stop acting so pussy and just like, let's have a real motherfucking conversation. Because I would ask his ass all the right questions and I wouldn't miss a beat. It would be a follow-up. I used to interview for a living. It would be a follow-up. It would be another follow-up if he would try to get out of that, because he looked like he one of the Scots, honey, one of the knots, because they are not who they say they are. But yeah, I would follow all the way up with Carlos. So what would you have did differently, with these castmates versus these people? I would really ask him, some real questions. And what is this fantasy you have about Portia? To me, when he talks about her, well, I just think she's the next Kim Kardashian, and she just looks so good, and she just this, and she just that, and it's like, she's fake as hell. You be having real people in front of you and you don't like them, but have y'all ever seen people like that and they're irritating? It's like y'all be having somebody good in front of you, somebody that's really a good person. But because you don't love yourself, you can't appreciate a good person. You don't know how to treat people. So let's get back to the comments. Melody fans took over Love and Marriage Huntsville. I quit watching it. I'm glad that she's gone. Wow. Another person says that's exactly why I stopped watching. Another person says, I think many of the commenters missed the message. He's saying that reality stars are so consumed with their perception on social media, they're not being themselves when the camera is rolling. Now, there is some of that, but this interview was about Melody. This was about Melody. I don't even feel like he was talking about the other girls, the other women that I just named to you all. This was specifically about Melody. And then with him asking to be her manager, and he was trying to control her. She don't need that. Okay? She don't need that. I think that he feels like Melody let the show go to her head. I think he believes that. Martell believes that. He got to talking shit about Nene Leakes. Yeah, well, Melody needs to watch it because where Nene at now? She's begging for jobs. It's like, shut your ass up. And Sheree, I will forever want to hit you in the back of your head for bringing that football head ass nigga to Real Housewives of Atlanta. How dare you? How dreadful. The hell wrong with you? Like, he didn't deserve to be on that damn show. You could have got anybody. Shit. I would rather see Bob. Shit. Okay? Okay. They're not being themselves when the cameras are rolling. They're portraying a facade to appease the fans or social media commenters. Who does that sound like, Portia? That sounds like Portia. That don't sound like Melody. That sounds more like Portia. Another person, the reality star killed the actual star, actors, singers who had actual real talent. Not necessarily, because we are in a day and age where a lot of people, they're really not as great as they think that they are. Well, I got a degree, but I'm pretty sure there's somebody, look, that do what you do and they don't have a degree and they probably better at it. You just never know, in life. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of people that didn't make it, they're bitter towards like social media influencers and reality stars. They're bitter when they watch these people come up and they rise up. And that's why you hear so many housewives like Phaedra, like Kenya and Candy. Yeah, I'm pre-housewives. I'm pre-housewives. But y'all clung to Real Housewives of Atlanta like it was the goddamn Titanic. And Candy told all of us they will have to fire me because I ain't never leaving. You know? And this is the season that Candy should be on. Okay? Cussing Phaedra the hell out. Now that is the real show right there. It needs to give us the dynamics of, how it was before. Nene cussing the ass out. I think Nene is coming back. I think a major shakeup is coming back. Mark my words. I think Drew is out. I was watching Watch What Happens Live, you guys. He does not like Drew. I can tell when Andy Cohen likes somebody. He's laughing with them. His eyes are smiling, smizing. Shout out to Tyra Banks. He looked annoyed with Drew, frustrated. He looked a little like that with Phaedra because he was like, he had to remind her, like, yeah, bitch, you got that award for traitors, but you were benched. You were benched for all those years. Those girls did not want to film with you. He brought her ass, look, back to life, back to reality. Okay? Because Phaedra lives in this make-believe, makeshift world. Her and Portia. That's why they are frickin' whack or frackin', whatever the hell it's called. Frickin' frack, honey. And I kind of liked them back in the day. I did. Because I think at that time, Candy was getting on my nerves. The part that Candy played is, Candy was dead ass wrong, and nobody ever told Candy this. She was dead ass wrong for telling Phaedra to take those boys, okay, Aiden and Mr. President, to go see Apollo in jail. She should have stayed her ass out of that, okay? Because Candy, everybody ain't about to be, catering to these niggas the way that you do. Well, my cousin, I hate when people do that. Well, my cousin and my cousin got killed. We ain't talking about your motherfucking cousin and his kids. We talking about them my children, and they father is the one that fucked up. And just because this motherfucker fucked up, he not fucking up nobody's childhood up over here. And that's how I felt about my daughter's father. I was like, yeah, you fucked up. You're not about to be in her life fucking everything up because you have some type of association with her or proximity because you her father. We don't give a fuck about none of that. Okay? It will be almost as if you never existed, nigga. Okay? I believe in legacy. I believe in being great. I believe in fairness, and I just don't want anybody a part of my legacy that likes to argue and fight. I believe in self-preservation, protecting my energy, staying away from these demons, these devils. Honey, they everywhere, you guys. I really, really want you guys to start paying attention to people's energy. And just know in life, sometimes you may have to leave certain people that you love. And that is, a hard, it's a hard truth about life. Let's get back to these comments. But yeah, they didn't do their due diligence in this interview, because Carlos is very manipulative. He always overly compliments his guests. And it was cute at first, right? It's cute that he give everybody their props, right? But he was like buttering Charlemagne up, And I just felt like it was too kiss-assy. Like, no, just, Charlemagne is good, but, you ain't gotta, but, we're two black men and you're on top of your game and y'all are multi-hyphenated like me, like everything that Carlos said, it was just very strategic. Let me overly compliment. And a lot of people lay it on thick like that because they don't want you calling their ass out. So he know what he doing. He done been around the block a few times. So he knows the games to play, and he likes to deflect, and he will never admit to the part that he plays in this bullshit. Because I'm here to tell you that if I ignored a lot of stuff, right? When it was winter. I did. It was like, winter was the fly at the family barbecue. And then I began to watch the girl. I kind of ignored Monique Samuels when she was coming out because she full of shit, and I stand by that. And everything with her, Chris, and Carlos, because, bitch, guess what? You ended up getting a divorce, even though you told us, well, no, we're just really getting to know each other, and we're not getting a divorce. Who said that? Ashley did, bitch, and you ended up doing, just fake, just be out here lying. You can't blame that on Carlos, Monique. I'm sorry. Your case, honey. Now, I do believe some of the other little shit she was saying, right? I do believe some of that. We'll get into that on another video. I really don't want to spend a lot of time talking about that. Because it is a few things she was saying that I felt, she had a point about, but girl, you be lying. I think what really got me is when Akeisha and Gucci quit. It was like, damn, it was like, ooh. Because you had the perfect cast. You had it. And you ruined it trying to be messy. You just, I don't know. You just ruined it. Another person says a person who stays on social media talking about these shows. Yeah, he be watching them, honey. Oh, they calling out Heavenly. So, the people are saying social media has killed Heavenly. I was just watching another review from somebody, and they wanted Heavenly removed from Married to Medicine. Because they are sick of, the game she play, where she doesn't want to share her issues with Dr. Damon. And I told y'all, I like Heavenly. She's one of my favorites on the show. I miss seeing her. I'm not gonna lie. I miss seeing her on YouTube. I used to love her and Carlos together. Hopefully they kind of come back together. What makes Heavenly bad is, just all the kissing up to Dr. Damon and acting as if he's so perfect. I think that's kind of what I'm sick of. I like Heavenly. It don't bother me when she call him daddy and stuff, because I get it. Look, I done lived it, honey. And sometimes that's just something that you, you call your man. Women call their man different little playful names. So I never felt the way about that. And there are certain dynamics I like with Damon and Heavenly, but she be like kissing his ass too much. And Nene was really good because you knew when her and Greg was happy, and then you knew when Greg fucked up. I done married a monster. And she went up the stairs. Okay, she told Bryson. What did she tell him? When you get your damn brain, you call me. When you get, she said something like that. When you get your motherfucking mind right, you call me. Oh my God, just funny, honey. Funny, funny, funny. But yeah, the people is dragging Carlos. They like, yeah, we know he talking about Mel, honey. So another person says him saying that but always standing for Portia and Melody is wild. He don't stand for Melody. I told y'all. I told you. I told you once and I told you twice. Next time I'm not gonna be so nice. I told y'all. And y'all was judging me for those videos. I don't get the correlation between Portia and Melody. Why you mixing Real Housewives of Atlanta with Love and Marriage Huntsville? Because I am a energy person and I'm paying attention to how a person talks when they talk about a certain person, when they talk about another certain person. And with Melody, he's very passive aggressive. He doesn't want to say her name. He outwardly praises Portia, and Carlos is very manipulative. Like he overly praises people. It's a manipulation tactic to disarm people. Okay? Keep them on his good side. Okay? So another person says, I 100% agree. Some of these reality stars want the check and then their fans go after the people in the comments. Melody is a prime example why she left. Her fans are disrespectful. Honey, they out here blaming the mellow meters. We already knew that, right? It's Carlos, though. He's not taking accountability. He's not taking accountability, guys, for how messy he gets, for when it's like a lack of integrity, like a nervous energy. Let me see it. And it's sad, to see somebody self-sabotage. Because like I said, I'm a big fan of his. I am. And it's kind of weird to be a fan of his because I really love how he produced Real Housewives of Atlanta season 6. Y'all know that's my favorite season of the show. He really did his big one with that. And, these other shows, right? What was it? The Next 15. I think I like that show. I was going to say Married to Medicine, but no, he ain't produced that, which is probably good because he beat and fucked that up, child. They need some help on Married to Medicine because it's just it's getting tired and boring, honey, okay? Another person says Carlos helped to kill it. He's supposed to be behind the scenes, but started interviewing and exposing information. Okay, so let's shake a bone and get the hell on. Shout out to the neighborhood talk. It says Marcus admits to lying on Phaedra and Angela allegedly orchestrating it. Marcus, so let's be honest, you blackmailed me to lie on Phaedra. Say I'm lying and I will release the entire call. Did I post this to the community tab or did we already talk about this? I just think all of this is so weird. And I noticed a lot of people saying that they didn't like that Charles and Angela, they wasn't on the right page. Charles wanted to kick Marcus out. Angela wanted him to stay. I felt like that's reality. I felt like that was a real moment. I felt like everything else had been overly produced. So I actually like to see, not so much I took joy in seeing them like argue, but I felt like it was real. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like them interacting like that was just very real. Like, no, babe. And Angela was so passionate, and so was Charles. And I just feel like we don't have that no more. Like with Shamia and her man, it's just, it's kind of like they just kind of talk about the children. Um, I don't know. We don't really have that. And Portia is so produced and controlling. She is. I just watched that clip, you guys, of her acting as if the night before she didn't try to fight Dennis's mom. Yeah, I posted that because a lot of y'all just be like, huh? Who said that? I said that. That girl tried to fight Dennis's mom, and for Dennis to just let it go like that over some pussy, that's how the niggas do though. They'll get over some shit real quick. Over some cootie cat, honey. Okay? Coochie crack. Ain't that what Kenya said? Angela, you don't know me from a can of paint. Why lie? You orchestrated the Phaedra lie and sent that goon to my restaurant to threaten and bully us into saying Charles was there with his daughters. So allegedly they trying to say that, Charles was cheating. Marcus provides receipts that him and Angela were well acquainted, and she even allegedly used him to send invites out for her event. Yeah, she was trying to get to the bottom of it. I don't like him. I think he's whack for doing that. Oh, let's talk about the Diddy situation. So Diddy was denied bail, okay, as he should be, because he does not need to be out. Like, when you have a tape out here of you physically, like, abusing your then girlfriend, like, the people will never forget that. Okay? His reputation is... He better do some regrouping, some rebuilding. He better get... Because he started out kind of likable, but it was fake. It was an act. It was what the niggas do until they get what they want. Y'all niggas, y'all got to stop being like that. Y'all got to work on your integrity, having good character, treating people right, being fair. Stop trying to walk all over people. Stop being overly controlling. Just cut it out. So, let me read y'all this story about Cassie, Diddy, and DJ Vlad. DJ Vlad just lit up the timeline. He says Cassie already got $20 million out of Diddy and had him locked up for 9 months, destroyed his deals, and embarrassed him worldwide. Now she wrote a letter begging the judge to keep him locked up till sentencing. Vlad calling it deep hate and unhappiness. Do y'all agree, or is she protecting herself? What y'all think of that? I mean, I think all the victims, they have a right to be scared. They do. He's crazy. He's physically abusive. Like, that's why they didn't, that's why they didn't give him bail. Okay, he was going to put $1 million. He was going to put $1 million up, and they said no. And I think not until October 3rd, I believe, he'll be sentenced. And I think he done already did. It'll be like a year. I think they got him in September, so he'll probably have to do another year or something, you guys, or 8 months, or... Yeah, I don't think he gonna be in there no 5 to 10. I don't. Let's see what the people think of this. So, one person says, I'm sure he never got beat by Diddy. What? Another person, he deserves every bit of it. It's called karma. Another person says, agreed 100%. She is just as guilty as Diddy and shook him down for 20 million, although she helped orchestrate those freak offs. Another person says she should have hate in her heart. He beat her up multiple times and made her do things she didn't want to do and blackmailed her if she said no. Have a permanent seat, mister. Another person says the truth of the matter is if he got out yesterday or October 1st, he's going to get out. Nothing is going to change. How he felt yesterday and how he'll feel in a few months, nothing is going to be different. He's a smart guy. He knows what he can do and not do. Is he smart? And do y'all hear that Gina girl talking about, I'm not afraid, but meanwhile her ass was down to the Tasha K. Yeah, he would like walk all over me and he would like punch me in my face and he would humiliate me and embarrass me. It's like, girl, which one is it? Okay, he never physically did anything to me. How do you say that? Like, child, it's crazy. Child, they out here saying that according to U.S. Weekly, Navy Federal has sued Kelly Farrell for an unpaid credit card balance of $26,434.86 plus attorney fees. The credit union says Kelly has failed and neglected and refused to make a payment upon the account. Another rep says for Kelly, informed U.S., Kelly has not been served with any paperwork from Navy Federal Credit Union, which is an account that was shared with her now husband, Chuvalo Mark Farrell. Due to her ex-husband currently being in the middle of bankruptcy proceedings, we cannot comment on this matter. Ooh, child. Then I heard some tea that Kelly was like messing with, other guys and stuff, like while she was married. Remember, Britt had came out and was just like, yeah, you are married and you are over there having abortions. And allegedly, the people were saying that Kelly was messing with Britt's husband's friends. Child, look, do they go the same way he go, child? Because honey, he don't even look like he in the Brit, honey. So, yeah. I'm not mad at Kelly for owing the people, honey. That man taking her through it. He's not paying child support. You will owe some people. You not getting all your money. So, I'm not here to judge Miss Kelly on that. And then it's connected to that ex-husband. It's like, let his big ass take care of it. Okay? Shit. So, ignorant ass Tiny Harris reacts to the Diddy verdict. It says at Major Girl, yeah, people want to charge you so bad for being freaky. That's nasty work. It's like, girl, you barely got off. They was about to cancel you and T.I. Hell, they did cancel y'all reality show. Just ignorant and ghetto. Just shut up. Okay, just be quiet. Not quiet. Quiet. Just be quiet. Wasn't nobody talking to you, girl. If I got off on some shit, I'ma be like, motherfucking lips gonna be zipped. I'm telling you. And that looks bad. That looks bad as a woman. Yeah, I'm happy he's getting out. I'm happy he was found out not guilty. I kind of told y'all how this was going to go, though. Especially with all that sex and stuff. Because the way people look at stuff is, if you was there orchestrating the freak-offs at least 2 to 3 times, they're going to be like, yeah, your ass liked it. Now, does it mean she liked it all the time? No. And he was wrong, like I said, to lay hands and to do all of that. But like I kept telling y'all, Cassie wanted something too. And like I've said before, A lot of these people, they are addicted to the money that these celebrities come with. They don't talk about that part though. Okay? That's why they stick around the person. Okay? I used to have this guy that I knew, I'm sorry. And he would say, yeah, I'll just put up with this. Yeah, I'll just put up with it. He was in a really desperate time in his life. And I felt bad for him. I'm like, well, don't you want to take up for yourself? No, I'll just put up with it. No, I'll just take it. It ain't no big deal. It's all right. It's like, no. Speak up for yourself. Advocate for yourself. That's how you show people, you love yourself. And, they can't treat you any kind of way. You have to have boundaries and standards for people, or they will walk all over you and treat you any kind of way. A lot of us end up getting used because we allow people to use us. We do. We allow it. We allow it. And I get loving somebody, and, it's hard to leave, and you know what I'm saying? I understand that. I understand being a part of a trauma bond. But, we got to love on ourselves. And, realize when people, don't wish us well. Diddy didn't wish Cassie well. He wanted to use her and pimp her out. She probably came in with one intention and then left on some other shiggity. But she got his ass though. She got money out of this nigga, and she got a new man out of it. And I'll make him my husband and have my children. Okay, now that's a boss move, honey. That is a boss move. Woo. Child, 50 Cent having fun with this. 50 Cent says, Diddy beat the feds. That boy a bad man. Clap, clap, clap. Beat the Rico. He the gay John Gotti. Ooh. 50 is a mess. Remy Ma arrested after heated exchange with daughter of her son's alleged murder victim outside the court. Ooh, child. It's a mess. What's going on with Remy Ma? One person says she is losing her mind. Let's pray for Remy. Another person says self-discipline. Gotta learn. Talk is cheap. Word is bond. Yeah, she just did all them years. Shit. Another person says get the facts right. She was not even arrested and the other woman was harassing her first. No, she's not crashing out or spiraling. You all love seeing a sister down. I did see the lady, talking shit to her. It's like, ooh, child. It's a mess. Ooh, child, they are talking about Shamia's video never had. She just looked like she was trying too hard. That's just what Shamia gives. Just trying way too hard. Child, they in the comments talking about Drew is better. Drew is better than her. I think that Shamia is jealous of Drew. I don't know why. She got a way better husband and she got way more money, But yeah, she doesn't have it like Drew has it, Another person says voice is there, but something is off about the production of this video. Another person, I don't know, something about the song and the video is off to me. I'm not feeling it. She just trying too hard. It doesn't seem natural. It's giving, I couldn't wait to shake my ass in front of in a man's face that isn't my husband's. That's what it's giving. It's, I think she has a lot of potential, but I think she need to let Portia go. Because this is the thing, right? when you keep trying to force friendships and relationships with people that are not a part, that shouldn't be a part of your destiny, what happens is it keeps you from becoming the artist that you want to be. Like, those things really do have a direct correlation with each other. So it's like you got so much shit going on that's weighing you down, and it's not giving. Y'all remember when Candace came out with Drive Back, and it was nice and natural, and it was so simple. I think Shamia should have did that. Shamina, I think she should have did something like simple, like simplify it for us. Then take us up a step or two each year, right? But it's too much all at once. Another person says she sounds really good. Another person says she looks beautiful, but it's hard to sell a fantasy when you put your real life on display on a reality show. All I see is her sick baby and her husband at home. Shamia has to learn to walk that fine line. I do wish her success, though. So, I'm not going to judge her. I'm not going to judge her for still living her life, even though, her child is sickly, because she's still human. So, but yeah, this video, it was cringy. It was just cringy. Another person says, why didn't she use her own husband? And why it seemed like her and Drew are trying to race to the R&B charts to see who's going to get there first. Shamia just don't have it like that. I told y'all, her and Portia are incomplete packages of each other. They both have what the other one needs, So, let's shake a bone and get the hell on before I get up out of here. Kenya Moore says Peter Thomas is more interesting than his ex-wife, Cynthia Bailey. Kenya, shut up. I think that you're really upset that, Cynthia told you you were wrong. That's one thing with Kenya, and she tries to accuse other people of being this way, like Nene and some other people. Kenya doesn't like to hear when she's wrong. I remember when Mark would be over there telling her as she's wrong, and she doesn't want to listen. She wants to do whatever the hell she wants to do. Even if it's wrong, or she goes too far, or if it's too dark. And I feel like, now, this is the thing. If she is upset with Cynthia, because Cynthia seemed like she was kind of taking up for Britt, I can kind of get jiggy with that, right? But I just feel like Kenya is being petty by trying to overly praise Peter and then put Cynthia in a pit. She's doing the same thing she accused Nene of doing. That's why when Kenya would be like, yeah, look at how your friend did you, and Kenya, you're no better. You're no better. So, yeah, I feel like it's not a good look. I think she should have stayed, quiet about Cynthia. So one person says, no lies detected. Another person says, no, Kenya, you never had a man on the show. I'm just saying, LOL. She had Mark. And who was the Matt? Another person says, at least we saw Peter. Mark couldn't stand you on that show. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, one person says, is it grief or envy? I feel like she's trying to take a dig at Cynthia by saying, well, Peter is the only reason why you're interested. Yeah, he helped Cynthia be, a little bit more interesting. That's not for you to say, though, Kenya. You're trying to say that because you're mad at Cynthia. And I think she's lightweight jealous that Cynthia is still on that show. Okay? But you should be calling Cynthia and trying to, Work out your friendship if you want to. That's if you want to, though. Because maybe she feel like Cynthia's a flippity flop. And maybe Cynthia feel like Kenya ain't no damn good. Kenya is too dark. She has too much dark energy sometimes. It's like, honey, you got to tame that crazy. You know? But I think she's desperate and she want that job back. I know that's right, honey. Check good. But honey, that's all I got for y'all. And I'll check y'all out in the next video.